Hello and welcome to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Nina Adio, a social media marketing expert specific to the wedding industry. On this show, I discuss tips to help you DIY your social media, as well as getting the confidence and income to outsource it. Thank you for allowing this episode to come through on your Bluetooth, your car radio, wherever it may be you're listening from today. Now, let's take your wedding business to the next level. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. My name is Nina, and I thank you for taking time to join us today. Today's a little bit of a different episode, and I am pretty excited about it. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out this is a horrible way to open a podcast. I can't figure out microphones. I have a special microphone I bought. I test it out, but then sometimes I think the webcam microphone is better. And then I go to sit down and finally to record the episode, and then the neighbors start vacuuming or there's noise on the street. But if you know me by now, if you've been on a Zoom with me, if you've listened to the podcast before, then you know that there's always going to be noise on my street. But man, I don't think you guys know that behind every episode is about 30 minutes of microphone anguish that I go through. But we are going to put that all aside and press on. I've got a cup of coffee. Maybe I'll tell you a little more about this special cup of coffee as we get into the episode. I've got my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I am ready to chat with you guys today. And I have a lot of interviews lined up to be happening in the upcoming season here on the podcast, but today is going to be a solo show, and I alluded to the fact that it's a little different than usual. This isn't directly relating to wedding marketing or tangible marketing advice. So, if that's specifically what you wanted, I have a lot of other episodes that you can listen to for that. This one is going to be something different. I think it is just as beneficial. I'm going to tell you about the morning ritual that I started doing 30 days ago. I've been doing it every day for 30 days and the impact I have received. So I hope you'll listen along, but I value your time. So if you're looking for specific Instagram marketing, etc. advice, go back to one of the past episodes and that will be able to help you out. And oh, guys, my cat just woke up. Hi, Buster. I always have to say hello when Buster comes into the room. That's my job as his mother, right? Hi, Buster. So, what is it that I have done that I am raving about, that I have added to my morning routine? And let me just first say that I did not previously have a morning routine. I basically would get up, and if my husband was late that day, meaning he had the morning off, I would kind of just head straight to the couch. And if my husband was early that day, I would kind of just lay in the bed until I could, you know, muster the muster the strength to face another day. I'm dramatic, all right? That's pretty dramatic. Speaking Speaking of dramatics, this is going to be stopped even further. There is food on my balcony that is not mine. Okay. This is the second day in a row. It just happened and I just noticed it now. The first day, it looked like somebody dropped like apple slices onto it. And now in the same spot is like crumbled up bread. And just in terms of gravity, I don't know how they're getting it on here or what the heck is going on. So I had to stop and send a photo to my husband. Guys, New York. New York. Okay. So, what have I started doing? I have started doing a routine. I am staring at the balcony while I keep talking. Oh my gosh. All right. I've been doing a system called Morning Pages. And Morning Pages is something that was created by author and writer Julia Cameron. First shared in her book, The Artist's Way, which I've read, and also again in her latest book, Right for Life. and I'm reading that now, and that's what caused me to do this again, because I did try to do morning pages when I worked a an out of office job, and I found it really hard for me to do. And I'm able to do it better now that I work for myself. So what are these morning pages? So, Julia Cameron created this practice ideally for creatives and for writers. And as a content creator, I am a writer, I'm a storyteller. I also want to be able to write personally too outside of work, but we write for work. If you're writing your website content, even in your emails, in your captions, you are a writer. And the morning pages are 3 pages of longhand stream of consciousness writing first thing in the morning. So that means you are getting up, you're opening up your notebook, a traditional sized, letter sized notebook, and you are writing 3 pages. It doesn't mean front and back, it just means 3 pages. And here's kind of what would happen when I would go to do this each day. I would sit down, I would write, well, I'm up, it's sunny, fed the birds, the cat's here. I don't know what else to write, but I'm going to keep going. And then as I kept pushing, that's when the stuff that was innate inside me started to come through. I really wish I could achieve this. I would love to do this. I would be so happy if I had the extra funds because I would spend them on this. All of these things really dormant inside me started coming out. Part of this is because the time of day this practice takes place. If I were to do 3 pages at night, I would pretty much just be rehashing about the day or venting about the day. Because I'm doing it in the morning, after I share the little bits of my surrounding, that's when I'm starting to really get into what's lingering or suppressed within me. So, I'll get a bit more into what my ritual around morning pages looks like because now I have turned this into a morning ritual for myself. So, I I make the coffee and I have these special cups with saucers that I use for this. They just make me feel so fancy and good. These are not like my average coffee cups. These are like, a special like tea set. I feed the birds. So this way I hear the birds chirping. I put on some affirmations, some like money consciousness affirmations, because I like to play that in the background. And then I just go for it. So, what has happened as a result of doing this for the past 30 days straight? So, right now, I can only speak upon the past month, which has been February and 2 days of January. Now, let me explain how I was feeling in January. I was feeling really financially stressed. That's what was bothering me. I said, how am I working this hard and still struggling this much? Like something is not making sense. And my coach, Marla Diane, said, your money mindset and your wealth consciousness is not just a some of the time thing. You have got to get into this every day. So I started reading a money mindset book every night before I go to bed and doing these affirmations in the morning and using part of this time with the morning pages to set some financial gratitude and goals. This month in February, it has been the best financial month I have had. In addition to that, I've gotten the best reviews that I've ever gotten in my business. I have felt great. Really, routine days have felt amazing. And I've realized how blessed I am to be in the situation I am and to have these days. And the things that I have been learning, the teachings that I have been listening to and reading and, sitting with my coach on, now the traction is coming into those teachings. So the teachings are turning into traction. Things are moving forward and it feels really, really amazing. It is my personal belief that it's not a coincidence, that this is a result of the morning ritual of spending time to set my intentions for the day, to express gratitude, to get anything within me out and onto the page, I really think this practice has been what has made the past month so good, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what this practice can bring up for next month. My husband has texted back, by the way, about the bread on the balcony. Now he now he's like, do we need to install a camera? I don't know what's going on about the bread on the balcony. Apple bread, what does that mean for tomorrow? What will come on the balcony tomorrow? But I want to kind of do a deeper dive of these intentions that I set for each day and how the morning pages help me to do it. And then we can brainstorm about how this may be able to help you with your wedding business. So, the first intention I have for every day is, of course, my job, my work. I do wedding marketing, and that daily work will include specific tasks that are deadline or getting ahead on future tasks and implementing things that I want to do within the business. Now, this is something I do truthfully every day, unless I'm at a place where I feel ahead. And at the end of this month, so I am, let me just say, I'm a notorious procrastinator. Okay. That's how I always was in college and school. Always. If I had a paper due, I was doing it the night before and never a moment sooner. And this past month was when that finally stopped and it felt so good. And procrastinating was causing me to have to work every day because I could never get ahead to the point where I felt okay not working. So, even though work is part of my mindset for every day, it is my goal that it's going to be something I do 6 days a week, 5 days a week. Another intention I have for every day, specifically starting this month, is to write. And that's a writing on a personal front, not writing for work. And what was happening is I was getting so stressed with my deadlines for work that I felt too guilty to write and I wasn't able to write anymore. So that's been part of my daily intentions now, to write. In addition to that, some housework stuff, clean, chores. And that is where I am the most lenient. That's where I will do, if I have to do the minimum during a high stress week, like last week was summit week, that may mean that I'm just going to prioritize, the dishes and the need to do stuff. And that's okay. For me, when I'm stressed, I have to prioritize with that, but I have my minimums that have to get done. Then I want to spend 23 minutes at least a day outside. I want to get my vitamin D and I want to get some outside time. So the 23 minutes comes from the podcast Happier with Gretchen Rubin that I highly recommend. And they do a group challenge. And for 2023, the group challenge is to spend 23 minutes outside. Every day, I want to work on mindset and my wealth consciousness. I want to do the morning pages. Dinner, I'm in charge of dinner, breakfast, lunch, we can all be self-sufficient, but here here I man the dinner. And then every day I want to call my mom. And that's because I speak to my dad every day, my nephew, they'll call me. My mom will not call anybody. And she will be like, I don't hear from so and so. And I'll be like, well, do you call them? So I make sure I call her at least once a day. And then lastly, quality time with my husband. And that sounds like a given thing, but his schedule changes so much that if I say, well, we always have quality time when we have dinner together, then half of the week we won't be having quality time together because half of the week we don't, because of his schedule. So the way I define quality time is that I'm spending time with him without doing one of these other things. So if he was, doing the dishes and I was sitting there near him, that's not quality time. Or if I was working and he's sitting here on the couch, that's not quality time. So that's how I define that. And in my morning pages, I'm kind of able to just map out those intentions for the day and see how they're going to unfold in the day, but also open myself up to the possibility of something better. So, a lot of the things I will write in my morning pages is how grateful I am for the income I have so that I can have memorable experiences with my parents, my husband, my family, etc. And today I get this text from my good friend, and she goes, "There's this new bakery that is like the France Pavilion in Epcot." So I just called my mom and I said, "Want to go out?" And we went. And even though my day didn't map out like I thought it would in the morning pages, where I didn't write down that sit and work and then watch some YouTube, that was like my treat for the day, YouTube. Instead, I got something better. I got to have the manifestation of one of my goals of treating my parents to special memories and special occasions. So it's been this really exciting opportunity to see what what life has in store. Earlier I shared that I tried to do this about 2 years ago when I worked out of the office, and it was too challenging for me. As somebody who is more traditionally of a sleeper, or when you start your morning, you're in a maybe a go, go, go mindset sometimes when you have kids, when you have work, etc., it can be hard to do. Or maybe it's not realistic that you're going to be able to wake up even earlier to do the morning pages. What my friend and I, her name is Carol Ann, you can follow her on Instagram at Carol Ann Coaching. What we were brainstorming that could work for her as a mother who can't really devote those mornings to this, or even the time. She's not in a place where she has the bandwidth for the 3 pages, and she's also not a writer. So she's not looking for this for the creative um room it leaves you. She's looking for this more so for the mindset and intention benefits. So, what we brainstormed that she could do, and maybe this is something that works for you, is get a 1 line journal. These are journals intended for you just to write 1 line a day. And at the end of each day for her, you could decide at what point of the day you want to do this. At the end of the day, she's going to write her intention for the following day, and that's how she's going to try to implement the benefits of this practice for her. Now, this is not something that Julia Cameron would approve of, but for us and what we're trying to get out of this and brainstorming how it could work for other people, that is something that I think is worth trying if you're not in a place where you can write out 3 pages, even if you're not a journaler, right? Some people just innately are a journaler. I have journaled my entire life. So this was something that would be up my alley. So maybe long form writing isn't for you, but you're really looking to tap into the mindset work of this and the wealth consciousness or getting organized with your business and goals, then I would consider having a smaller notebook where you write your intention for the day each day. And I think that could be a really fun way to implement this, and I believe still get the benefits from it. Plot twist for the bread on the balcony, guys. Okay, so yesterday was apples. Today it was bread. Both of them fall in the same spot. The same spot is right in front of my bird feeder. And each time this food has been there, there are no birds. So now I'm like, are they trying to deter my birds? Are they upset I feed the birds? And rather than just saying something, are they dropping a bird deterrent? Am I I see I'm gonna have to write about this and see what will come to be. So here's how I would let's work this into it. The way I would write about it would be like, I'm so happy that I had a resolution today to this bird feeder hoopla. And then, I would just keep going on that wavelength. And then what I'm finding is what I put out, the intention I put out, then in turn comes to be. And that's really, really exciting and why I've been having so much fun with this. And now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sweep off this bread. I'm gonna get my 23 minutes outside, and I'm gonna publish this podcast. And it's gonna be a great rest of my day. I'm putting it out there now. If this episode or any past episodes that I've done have been helpful to you, it would be helpful to me if you could review this podcast, because that helps it to get pushed out to reach other people. New episodes of the I Do Wedding Marketing podcast come out every Wednesday. You can find me on Instagram at I Do Wedding Marketing or join the I Do Wedding Marketing group on Facebook for direct access to me to ask any of your questions regarding your wedding business or implementing the morning pages. Thank you for listening, and I will keep you posted on the balcony saga. Bye bye.